everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sofia. Me and Sky are back to continue the Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature Fairy Stories gameplay. Right now Sky is very close to the Fairy Hub, and one of the things that she needs to do is to visit the Fairy Hub and use it 3 times. So let's see what interactions do we have in the Fairy Hub. Looks like we have 6 interactions, and Sky will start with the collect daily fairy dust ration. Sky is right there, so it shouldn't take long for her to go to the Fairy Hub. Has so many cool details, looks amazing. Now Sky will learn about Everdew history. Keep in mind that Sky just moved to Innisgreen a couple days ago, and it's always good to learn about the town and stuff like that. Then Sky will investigate fairy court documents. I think this last interaction is kind of funny for some reason. After she completed the visit Fairy Hub and used it 3 times, I was looking around and found a random fairy home, so I decided for Sky to join a dance party there. I hope it is alright and no one will get mad at Sky, since it's not actually Sky's fairy home, it's like a random fairy home. See, there was another fairy in there. Let's hope they don't think Sky is a weirdo for crashing a party like that. The other fairy went inside the fairy home again. They just love the fairy homes, don't they? I mean, like the parties and stuff like that. When it comes to Sky, she needs to go home now. Off screen, I decided to add 3 gnomes to Sky's house so she can bring the gnomes back to life with fairy dust. First one, Sky will bring a gnome back to life with fairy dust for gardening. To be fair, I am a bit concerned about this part, since before the Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature gnomes created caves sometimes. I don't really know what to expect, plus there's not much for the gnome to do when it comes to gardening, but it seems harmless, so I decided to try this one first. The second gnome Sky will bring back to life is going to be for protecting. I don't really know what is about to happen. I hope everything is fine, but they are moving around already, which kinda scares me, but we will see. Gnomes are kinda wild sometimes, and Sky run out of fairy dust, so before we bring the third gnome back to life, she needs to collect more fairy dust. Okay, the gardening gnome is giving us free seeds, which is a good thing, not scary at all, and it can be really good for Sky in the future. In this case, everything seems fine right now, which is a very good thing for Sky. The gnome that is protecting, I feel like he's just going around the house, maybe checking to see if there's something dangerous to Sky, or maybe protecting her from burglars. Not sure if they can show up in Innisgreen. Sky was emotionally starving, so I decided for Sky to use the fairy home to regenerate emotional force. I was neglecting Sky's emotions a little bit, but now she will feel better. This interaction also looks like Sky is having a party in the fairy home for some reason. Don't get me wrong, the tiny fairy homes look so cute, but the party and the emotional force interaction kinda look the same in my opinion. While Sky was getting her emotional force back, the gnomes stopped it. One thing that always bothered me in other Sims games, such as Sims 3, is that sometimes gnomes will end up in random areas of the house or of the backyard, and I don't like that. I will eventually change them in the build and buy mode. It looks so random sometimes, not exactly how I placed them in the first place, but oh well. Once Sky finally found more fairy dust, she is now able to bring the third gnome back to life for gardening again. I thought it was going to be for cleaning, but there's also not much to clean, I believe. Sky just moved in a couple days ago, and she has been outdoors pretty much all the time, so gardening it is. At least we get free seeds, which is awesome. After this, we are done with the use fairy dust to enchant 3 items mission, and Sky needs to do fairy stuff to reach the glimmering fairy rank. As you can tell, she needs to reach level 3 to complete this mission, and so far she's only level 1, so Sky will work on that soon. There's also so much to see in Innisgreen and to explore as a fairy. I also wonder if she will get more abilities once she improves the glimmering fairy rank. I mean, it makes sense for Sky to do other things and become maybe a powerful fairy. Who knows? But so far everything seems pretty cool and she is having a lot of fun. Since Sky was foraging for such a long time, it's time for Sky to take a bath in the fairy home. Take a look at the fairy home now. You can see the bubbles from the bath. These look super cute and cool too. I am glad they added different things to the fairy home. The third gnome is still going strong and we need to collect the seeds he is giving us. Again, free seeds, we can't complain. There's also another fairy here. I believe Sky will chat with that fairy for a little bit. She is new here and wants to meet the townies, making new friends and maybe more. We will see about that. Everyone has been super nice to Sky, which is lovely. Sky is an outdoor girl, so she loves to talk about outdoor activities and has been doing that all day. Not sure if the other sim will find it cool as Sky does, but since I believe the other sim is also a fairy, she might think outdoors are cool as well. The other fairy is actually flirty for some reason. Anyway, Sky will ask the fairy about wing care routine. After all, she needs to know these things now that she is embracing the fairy life. Now, Sky will try the shrink and play in objects such as the kitchen counter, fridge, mailbox, and so on. She can improve the glimmering fairy rank or reach the glimmering fairy rank by doing that. And that fairy decided to throw a party at Sky's fairy home without inviting Sky to the party. Come on, how rude is that? Fairies just love to party and they will have a party at any fairy home, even the ones that don't belong to them. I had no clue about this, so they can't consider Sky a weirdo for joining that party in the beginning of this video, like that fairy home was in the middle of nowhere. Just kidding, but that's kinda true. That party is over, or at least it looks like, and I was checking Sky's fairy rank. Take a look at the bar with the two butterflies on the left and the second one on the right. Sky is in the middle right now, between level 1 and I guess you can say between level 2. She really needs to do fairy stuff to improve that. Right now Sky will go to her fairy home to regenerate her emotional force. This will also help improving the glimmering fairy rank, and sometimes we neglect our fairy's emotions. Make sure to keep an eye on that as well. Then she will take another bath in the fairy home. I love the fact that the fairy home has this interaction because Sky's house is actually a micro fairy house. There's only the outhouse when it comes to the bathroom, and the fairy home helps with that a lot. I saw that after Sky used the fairy home, there was fairy dust near to the fairy home, so Sky will collect all the fairy dust. It might be useful later on this series. Afterwards, Sky will go to bed. I know that fairies can sleep at the fairy home, but the other fairy was still there, and since other fairies can crash into Sky's fairy home at any time, I think for now Sky will sleep in her bedroom instead of the fairy home. I love how this lot looks in the morning with the sun rising and all. Looks amazing, and it's a brand new day for Sky. I just checked her needs and everything seems fine for now at least. Again, she just woke up. She will continue to shrink and play in the mailbox. She will forage for plants. Sky doesn't really need that with all the seeds that she got from bringing the gnome back to life. As I explained in the first video, foraging helps improving the natural living skill. So right now she's at level 3 or 4 in that skill. Then she will go to the fairy home and regenerate emotional force again, since it helps with the fairy rank, as I explained it earlier. I will speed up this part, but you can see the butterfly bar changing during the things that Sky is doing, or should I say the fairy things that Sky is doing. Sims can also shrink and play in the fridge, kitchen counter, and more objects. You need to click on the objects and see if they can shrink and play as a fairy. When it comes to the fridge, they can find stuff there. Sky just found garlic after shrinking and playing in the fridge. I think that is funny and might help with recipes and such later on as well. I love to see fairies drinking and playing in the water. I think it's really cool. Afterwards, I was looking for more things for Sky to do around Innis Green and see if that helped with the fairy rank. But to be fair, the most effective way to improve the glimmering fairy rank is by using the fairy home and tricking and play on objects. You need to click on the objects and see if that option shows up. After a lot of work, Sky finally reached the glowing fairy rank, which I guess is considered level 2, and she still needs to do more fairy stuff to reach level 3 and complete that mission soon. I will speed up this part, and once your sim reaches the glimmering rank or level 3 if you will, you need to pick one of the two paths. It can be the harmonious fairy path or the discordant fairy path. Which one do you think Sky will pick? Let me know in the comments. As always, I hope this video helped you, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.